Hey there, Gwenters, and welcome back for another episode of Gone Gwenting. This is going to be one of my last contract videos for a while, and it's one of the easier and faster contracts to get. And in fact, although it's not shown in this video, it's super easy to pair with another contract. That contract is Bodybuilder. And the secondary contract is the bigger they are, ... So the goal of this one is to show you how to create a 50 plus point character, and then if you want the bigger they are, ... you can scorch it. Now, trick for the bigger they are, you don't have to scorch an enemy's character, you can scorch your own. You just have to scorch a character worth more than 50 points. That's why these two can go so well together. You just need to build Scorch into your deck. So just keep that in mind, and you can get two contracts for the price of one faster than most other contracts. Let's get into it. Alright, first thing, as always, you want to pop open that contracts panel, and you want to make sure you have it marked. After you've done that, as with every other video, make sure you hop into Deck Builder, and let's get you a deck ready and rocking to go. So, for this one, I think the best deck to use to get this quickly is very similar to our other decks that we just created, but instead of using the Kikimor Queen and Karen Thier, you're going to sub them out for the Crones. So I especially love Brewess for this challenge. I think she is fantastic. Alternatively, you can basically do the same deck that we've done to get those 100 plus point rounds and just use K-Ran. Or alternatively, you can use Slizzard. Slizzard is a little more difficult to manage because you have to wait every turn and pray that your opponent doesn't lock them. You can alternatively, because it doesn't require a win, you can do it in the second round after you have allowed the opponent to win the first round with lower cards, and a lot of times they'll just let you do whatever you want. Though sometimes they'll have to say they get annoyed and just forfeit or quit the game. So I think this deck is a little bit better at giving you some versatility. It's useful in other ways, and you can keep using it. One thing I will point out, you'll notice I had Adrenaline Rush in this, no longer useful. It was previously helpful with Resilience, and it would carry a unit over from one round to the next. You can no longer use it for that purpose. It is still, however, a pretty good card. So if you have the only unit on a row, it's now only a 5 provision cost card, and it will boost that unit by 8 points. So the delta on provision cost of points is better than most other decks for that. You just have to make sure you only have one unit on that row. So it can get nuked pretty hard by Nilfgaard if they play spies on your row. But let's just jump into this. I'm going to get you right into the gameplay. You don't need to see how the first rounds go because you don't need to learn how to win this one. Like I mentioned, all you need to do is get one character worth 50 points. So, like I did mention though, Slizzard can be helpful for this, but a lot of times ends up getting locked. So there's pros and cons to that. I like Ekimara for the Thrive ability. Much like you've seen in the two prior videos, Thrive can really help you get a lot of just kind of passive points, great engines. Ruin I also think is a fantastic card for this when he doesn't get locked. But Ruin you can just eat over and over and over again and get his 4 base points back in. Notably, if you are watching this right now during Season of the Elves, this is a perfect time to try to get this contract combination, just because you are using twice as many cards. And if you are a little bit more precise about your provision costs, if you've watched my Journey and Season of the Elves video, you can make sure to get 2 Ruhins on the board and possibly like 2 Barbagazis or 2 Slizzards at the same time. 2 Ekamaras as well, and that'll just give you a huge ramp up in points. Again, I don't have K-Ran. I think K-Ran makes this super easy because you get a 3 consume all in one turn, and if you did this during Season of the Elves, you would get 3 consumes on 2 K-Rans all in one turn with Zeal, right? So you get to use them right away. Instead, I'm working off Barbagazis here, but again, this video is a little bit more accessible. The cards aren't as expensive for others. So, and you'll notice in my videos, one of the contracts I was contemplating making a video about, but just was unnecessary. But there is a contract every time you message your opponent something, you work up to a 1,000 point contract. So after you've messaged 1,000 times, on the 1,000th time you get 10 keys, but there are actually triggers in between that point. So one of the things I'm working on here too, you can see boosting a card in my hand. So gonna put that on Weavess just because we do not need it on Brewess because she's going to be consuming everyone else. But we do want to try to get as many base points out as possible. So that Slizzard can eat the other Slizzard now. Then we have the other Burbagazi coming out, and you can see we're just ramping up the points. And this is against an opponent who wants to push us pretty hard because this is actually the final round. So I made this more difficult on myself than I needed to. Again, I think a better way to try to get this is to just play it and to go soft in the first round, go hard in second when they're going to pass, get it done, and then drop the Scorch down on the high unit as well. But if you need to play this to win, or you're just trying to rack up wins, this is a better way of accomplishing that feat. So again, wanting to slowly roll up for that Ekimara, and although Old Spear Tip is higher, we don't necessarily need to do that to him right now. So instead I'll play the boost. Don't need to eat anything, but eating that Ekimara will get the extra vampire, so it's an extra 2 points. Then we know that he's not going to play another Geralt because he only had one. You can see already right now we are at 37 points, so we're very close. Akvist is annoying in this scenario just because he can do damage to us so many times, but I think we're still going to be I know that we're still going to be solid on this. So right now, again, just doing some quick math, 37 plus 9 is 46. We actually do right here have enough cards, and you can see my opponent forfeited because he knew he was going to lose. So this is an example of how you can win. We have it all lined up. Even if he did that damage to us, we still would have been able to get it with Brewess, but sometimes you just can't get what you want. So again though, I think that's the gameplay you need to see. That's how you can get it done. Just got to make sure you know exactly what you're doing. So anyway, you can see I played another round. For some reason it did not record, but I did end up getting the same contract using the same deck. So it is something you can depend on. You can get it. I'm sorry I couldn't get that exact footage for you, but I think you saw right up to the point of where it was going to be accomplished. And that Brewess, importantly, has 3 consumes because I had already played Wispess and Weavess. So when you drop her down, she is going to pull you back, eat 3 characters all at once. Again, though, you can get that automatically with Kayran because of his Zeal ability and his ability to use those 3 charges all in one turn. Notably also, Kayran can be a great card in Arena because it is a charge ability. So if you had like Aretuza Adept or other cards that feed charges like Priscilla, you can actually just feed those to Kayran, and he can do multiple consumes. And I should also note that you can actually accomplish these contracts in Arena. It's just more difficult. But for now, Gwenters, I'll have an Arena video that'll come out as part of my new roll-up. So what I'm going to be working on next is just some basic intro videos to each of the first decks, and then with some more analysis on each of the different abilities and triggers. So, for example, one of the first ones I'm going to have coming out here will be a formation analysis of Northern Realms, how formation works, what Zeal means, how you can use that, the difference between regular orders and orders with charges, like I just described with Kayran. For me, those were some of the most confusing things at the beginning of the game that I just could not figure out when one triggered and when the other one triggered. So tune in soon for more of that, and have fun. Get out there and go Gwenting.